So we've talked about the basic boring Traptrix stuff. Now we can get into the actual interesting goo that I have locked away in my Google Docs for approximately 2 years. And after the April 2025 ban list changing the format dramatically pre-Alliance Insight, we'll be talking about the most powerful rank 4 deck made to date, Ryzeal. I wanted to wait for the ban list before talking about this deck, and here's the verdict. Now, in Ryzeal's early introduction, people actually tried playing some Traptrix variants to be able to play around Nibiru, until people realized the deck already did that. That's the most we've seen any cross between the two decks, and now with all the Ryzeal names to 2 and Detonator sitting at 1, the deck has gotten significantly weaker, but doesn't affect our build that much. So let's look at Traptrix Ryzeal. Quick rundown of what the Ryzeal cards actually do. All of them are some of the highest quality level 4 extenders in the game. There are 4 main deck monsters that all inherently summon themselves, 2 light pyros, and the other 2 are 2 fire thunders. X is the best extender out of the bunch as it dumps an Xyz monster to summon itself, and on summons searches usually for Sword Ryzeal. Sword Ryzeal is the other high quality extender that can special summon itself by having a Ryzeal on field of grave, and searches for X usually. These 2 cards are again the best cards in the deck. They are really flexible with only downside of both locking you into rank 4s from the extra deck. The last 2 Ryzeal main deck monsters include Ice, which on normal summon summons a Ryzeal, and then we have Node, which can summon itself if you have an Xyz in field or grave, and can send a card from hand or field to reborn a Ryzeal. The main deck monsters are really high quality level 4 extenders we've seen before, in line with the high levels of consistency thanks to Bonfire and 7th Tachyon. But of course, after the recent lists, all these cards got hit in some way, in total losing 5 high quality starters. But we aren't even done. There are 2 Ryzeal Xyz monsters including Duo Drive, which is a generic rank 4, which modulates monsters' attack and can search for 2 Ryzeal cards. Then we have the powerhouse of the deck, Ryzeal Detonator, which on summon attaches a monster from grave, can protect Xyz monsters from destruction by detaching a material, and finally, once per turn or chain, can target and destroy a card on field when your opponent activates a card or effect. This card was the heart, the vital organ of the deck, being a complete powerhouse, and even with just 2 Ryzeal bodies, got to a really strong boss monster that a lot of road decks just couldn't out without non-engine. Then came the release of Eclipse Twins, which allows you to reborn Detonator when it's sent to the graveyard. So it would have 5 pops throughout your turn, and now you needed 2 pieces of non-engine to out it, or a specific one like Metaltronus or Ultimate Slayer. This card was format warping, and a lot of weaker decks into unplayable territory. This card is now at 1, which means the grind game for Ryzeal is a lot worse and more manageable. The last 2 Ryzeal cards I thought I'd bring up are Ryzeal Cross, which lets you recycle Ryzeal cards, and is an in-chain monster negate, which was again another crazy thing this deck just had access to. And finally, Ryzeal Plasma Hole, which pops cards on your opponent's field for every Ryzeal Xyz and can quick Xyz while in the grave. This card became less common as the deck wanted to play less bricks at a higher level, but for us, this card is very important from the deck. It's a searchable normal trap, it adds more interruptions that Traptrix definitely could use, like the trap, and more importantly, this is a normal whole trap, meaning this is searchable off Mermelia. Yeah, it's time to break Traptrix Ryzeal. So unlike most Ryzeal builds, our Ryzeal package is actually quite small. Basically, in my theorying, our deck has 6 good normal summons already, so I didn't want to play cards like Ice because it would just clunk our hands with too many normal summons. Secondly, our Endboard typically is going to have Sarah on board, who is not an Xyz monster, meaning X is a much worse extender, and because typically we don't want to have too many dead cards in our hand, I decided to only play 3 Ryzeal cards in the main deck. Alright guys, so in this portion of the video, I'm going to be going over the deck profile of my current Ryzeal Traptrix list. This is not entirely accounting for Alliance Insight because there's going to be a couple changes of this I would definitely make by them. And yeah, and I'll be going over my thoughts and because a lot of you guys were asking me how I theory and how I deck build, so hopefully this portion of the video can kind of give you a sense on how I do it. Alright, so without further ado, let's get it. I don't have this sorted by like hand traps, non-engine, etc. So I'll explain things when they come up. So first, we have 3 copies of Ash. I think this is pretty much always gonna be a thing in Yu-Gi-Oh for the foreseeable future, especially with Charmies in the game. Just being able to Ash a Fua, which will kill your Ryzeal engine, is really good. And just, you know, even if you draw multiples of this, I've never found it where I brick an Ash. Like, being able to just, like, Ash on my turn and their turn is just so good. So, yeah, this card is always me played. Similar to Fua, I don't know. Fua, it really depends on your deck. I think in this deck you kind of need to play it. Also, just so you guys know, Fua is a 4. Actually, all these gyms are 4s. So, this plus like X is like full combo. Even though like we're only playing one X, but in theory, if you play more X, playing this isn't that bad because it is technically a normal. It's a level 4 normal summon, so it's not entirely bad. The only hand trap. Nib is also pretty good. I think Nib, especially going to Alliance Instance, is actually going to be really good against Malice specifically. So I think this card's going to be really good. But the only card here I'm actually like on the fence about is Veiler. Veiler's probably not going to be that good next format. This is just my take. I don't think it's like even now we're starting to see people not even play it as much because a lot of decks now can just dodge Veiler. At least Imperm can be used on my turn, so like it turns off like a card, but Veiler just it seems a lot worse, to be honest, this format. So this is a card I would probably cut. And in general, I was actually thinking maybe play like more of like a board breaker approach. We play more like evenly matched like we did back in the day. We play like Dark Ruler Droplets. I don't know, those are things I was thinking about. But yeah, the only hand trap here I'm not actually like a fan of is Veiler, but I didn't like before this what card was this? This was Metaltronus before, but because Detonator's at 1, I decided to cut it, but we'll go into that a little bit. But yeah, Veiler is the only card here I'm not like too certain about. And then of course we have the the X cards, the Ryzeal cards, which before I already mentioned. We're going to be playing X, Sword, and Plasma Hole, which by the way, all the we need to play. So just so you know, off duo we have to search 2 cards. So I decided to play 3 because in the chance we draw 1, we could still resolve duo. And it basically gets us to the same place. And we're not playing any other cards because they don't really do much. At least on their own, of course. These two do things on their own, so they're actually pretty good. They're also normal summons, which people forget. Like these are normal summons. We like if we don't open Merm or Mantis, we can just normal these guys and get a rank 4 going. And down here, I'm only playing a couple rank 4s. We could definitely play more, but I couldn't really think of ones that would come up as often. So. But yeah, let me know what other rank 4s I should maybe consider. I don't have Redo here because like I don't think it's that good, but it's like something to keep in mind. That's why I had Baguska here because like at worst we just make a Baguska pass, which isn't really that good. But anyway, yeah, these cards are great. And the best part about this engine, which I think is awesome, is it's only 3 cards. So like if we really don't like them, if we know they're playing Droll cards like that, we could just side these out for like Droll. We could side that for Perulia, Ogre. Like, we could just side these out. It's really easy. And they only take up 3 extra slots, so it's not even that much of a waste. Like, I think it's actually definitely, like not that bad of an idea. Next, we have the Traptrix engine, which is very small engine, I will admit. But unfortunately, we just have to play the highest quality cards possible. So, I'm playing 3 Merm, 3 Mantis. Both of these are combo. Merm is better because it doesn't lock you as early, which gets us like Merm plus Trap is full combo with the Ryzeals, of course. So I want to see Merm as often as possible. Mantis is worse, but it is a starter. At the end of the day, it is a starter. So we have to play it because we go Mantis, search this, make Sarah. Yeah, like it's gonna be worse. Like we're gonna need like an extender in hand, but that's why it's kind of nice because if we open X still, we could just actually we can't because we're locked. Never mind, I lied. But yeah. Like, we have to play these cards for full extension. Then I'm playing 3 Arachnacampa. The reason we play this is because any body plus this, it's not full combo necessarily, but it's not bad. Like, if we open a trap plus this, we're going to be feeling really good. Like, we're getting on, like, when I say full Traptrix combo, I mainly am referring to Rafflesia plus Sarah. That's the main combo. I wish we could do more, but that's all we really have at our disposal as of right now. Unless we play more stuff like Ryzeals, of course. So, yeah. In general, I think you should always be, like, for the most part, unless you're playing more normals, like Ice and stuff, you should always be playing 3 Merm, 3 Mantis, and the 3 Arachnacampa. Because into hand traps is actually really nice. We go normal Merm and then or Mantis, and then like Ash or Impermanent. Which, by the way, is, like, not a really... Like, I guess you kind of have to Ash Imperm there, but, like, it doesn't feel... Like, it feels good for us, usually, but for them, it's, like, whatever, because we're just making Sarah afterwards anyway. But, yeah, then we could just use Arachnacampa to summon, and then we just, go off from there, so... I think these 3 are pretty much, like, staples for the most part. And then we also have Detonator here, which Detonator went on summon lets us basically on special lets us lets us reset a whole trap, which is really good for recursion, especially if we discard we're playing 4 whole traps by the way, which is crazy, but we'll get to that in a little bit. But you can basically just reset your whole traps for 2 turns, which is really nice. And then finally we have 1 Putica. Most people think we should play 2 or 3 of this, which I highly disagree about. I think Garden is a really bad card, like full-on trash donkey anus. Like, even with that on your end board doesn't even become that much better. Like, it's okay to like nib, I guess, but like, and maybe if my opponent is playing like a battle deck like Tempai, sure, but like in general I think that card's like really bad, especially to play like as a one of just a search, like, which by the way you have to normal this. We don't want to normal this, we want to normal this. And at that point, we're playing 9 normal summons, because again, in this deck, like a normal is like normals and specials are different. Like we have to normal one of these. Like that's a lot of normal summons. 9 is a lot. So I just typically play this as a one of, because summon this off Sarah or Holatea is really good interruption. It is banished, which is actually pretty good. The only problem with it, obviously, is it reborns any of their banished cards, which against certain decks, like most recent example I can think of is against like Tempai. I keep saying Tempai. Against Branded, they would like reborn one of their like banished guys. I'm like, oh well, I'm cooked here. Like being able to just resummon any banish is really annoying. I get why they added that, but like in the lore, because you can like hold one of them, but like, you know, it's not good. But being able to banish them is nice. Like it's definitely not useless. And those are all the Traptrix guys I play. Like these are the best ones. I don't think there's like much contention there. I know some people in my comments were, who were they saying? I think it was this one, Vesiculo. It's okay. I didn't mention the video because like I don't think it's that broken of a card. It's okay. It's an extender, right? It's also a plant, which is actually pretty nice for the strategy, because most of these cards are insects, unfortunately. This is probably a card I have to like test more with, but you have to open another trap to send. Like, I don't know. It's like, it's okay. It just requires you to play another trap or spell, which I don't really want to do. Also, this has to send a trap. Never mind. Yeah, we have to open like 2 traps. I don't think it's that good, but it's okay. It's a searchable extender, so maybe I should consider this in this build specifically, because being able to summon a 4 is nice. Having a searchable 4 is nice. So like, say we open like Mantis and Arachnocampa, we could search this instead, and then we could set one of our cards, summon this, make a 4, and then we could use this to reborn it. Yeah, maybe in this version we can consider it. I've always thought this card was like lackluster as like as like a card, but then again, like at worst, again, the best thing about Traptrix is in general, at worst, we could just normal summon the card, make Sarah pass. Like it's not that bad. Albeit you have like traps, of course. So yeah, this honestly is probably a card I would consider playing, to be honest, in this version. I've always just turned this card off. Like all these other cards are, this is the only card. This is the other card I was considering playing, not in this version, but in different decks, because it just allows you to get like more extensions. It's also a 2K body, which is pretty nice. But other than that, I never considered like the rest. Like these 2 are not good. And yeah, those are just the Traptrix cards I would consider. But this one I would definitely consider in general, and even in this build. Anyway, getting on to more into the deck, we only play 3 spells: Call by, Pop, and Talents. Low key, Talents is probably cuttable. I don't know. I don't really know how I feel about this. Call by is nice because again, it's Call by. This card is probably like a staple from now on. Like, it's so good. Just be able to turn off anything is so broken. I just removed it for some reason. And then we have Pot of Prosperity, which again we kind of have to play, unfortunately. This deck does tend to brick. So just being able to, this is basically just a mulligan. Like just being able to get a trap at worst, a name is just really good. So I think those are like, I think this card is like pretty solid. Plus like, at least in this version, this extra is actually not tight whatsoever. Like there's like, I remember Lonnie, there were like 4 or 5 like flex spots. There were so many flex spots. Like we were using minimal use of our extra deck, so we actually have a lot of like cards we can banish. So pot isn't that bad. And moving on to traps, as you guys can see here, I am on 13 traps, which I've talked about this in the video as well. But typically you want to be playing 12 to 15 traps, just so on average you open 1 or 2. We're playing a high trap count, so we will be averaging like 1 or 2 cards a game.
If we don't open any, I am crying. But yeah, we're also on 4 of the hole traps. We're playing, of course, Plasma Hole, which is again searchable off Ryzeal Duo Drive. Then we're playing the 3 best currently in the format IMO. We're playing Traptrix Hole Nightmare, which is literally just a negate. It's pretty good. Every player knows about this. Like every good player knows about this. So it's the one I typically set because it's the easiest people will know about. The second one is of course Gravediggers, which is really good because it helps us play around Nib. But I don't know how often we're even making Rafflesia in that case. But regardless, this card's just really good. Also, it's not once per turn. None of the holes are once per turn, so they're actually really nice in case you open, in case you play multiples of them. But this card also burns for 2k, which for this build, it's actually really like in all the builds it's good, but in this build specifically, it's actually really good because Ryzeals have a little hard time of killing, especially on the crackback, especially with Traptrix. Like we have a very difficult time killing, so being able to like use this, maybe even loop it off Detonator to get another 2k off is like really good. Like your opponent has to start like at some point, your opponent will have to be playing around this, otherwise they just lose because they just take 2k and they die. Like the 2k is so important for this. Like I cannot understate that the most. And then the final trap hole we play here is time space, which another hole I kind of like messed out on, so my apologies. But this card says when your opponent summons a monster from your hand extra deck, shuffle that into the deck, then you take 1,000. This card's very like solid. Like being able just to bounce back an extra deck is actually really good. Like a lot of people won't be able to play around this, to be honest. The main reason I was also playing this too is like if they something like Whitebinder against Malice, we can just boop return it back because a lot just being able to like bounce like their links back, their Xyz back is actually really good. Like the shuffle back is actually like, kind of crazy. It's also into the deck, so like, it's gone. Like this card's really good. I was definitely like undervaluing it. It's definitely a solid card. So yeah, I like all this format. Then finally, for the 9 remaining traps, of course we have Holoteo, which is of course is an engine requirement. We have to play this card. This card's great. Then we're playing Imperm. Nothing crazy there. Imperm is great. It's good to go in first and second. It's a great discard. Nothing really to say there. Then finally we have Blackout Laughs. This is an interesting choice. I don't think it's entirely necessarily. Also, I think this card's like is really expensive. It's at $20 right now. It's like really expensive for not a good card. Like it's not bad. Don't get me wrong. It's not a bad card at all. But like I wouldn't spend $20 on it. But yeah, being able to discard this off Holoteo is great. It's an interruption engrave. It's a very solid card. Like at worst, we're setting it. Who cares? We get 2 interruptions for over 2 turns. Like this card's great. There's other cards I was considering playing, like Lost Wind, but you know, are we really doing that? I don't think so. Yeah, and then here on the side we have a bunch of cards I was also considering. Hand traps. I was considering these 2. Again, before the ban list, of course, I was trying Meltronus. It was actually main deck because our hardest matchup for Traptrix current or like before the ban list was Ryzeal. So being able to play Meltronus to out it is also really good. Also, just outing any like the flipping Malice cards is really good. That's why I also have Whitebinder here. But after Detonator number 1, we can't really Meltronus because like we want to make Detonator. So we basically have to like side it. So like if we were to play against Ryzeal and we don't want to play our own Ryzeals, we could set out our Ryzeals for Meltronus and the Meltronus their Detonator. It's okay. I don't think it's something to consider, I guess. And then yeah, just a bunch of crap cards here, whatever. All right, and then going to the extra deck, we have Twins, which is an engine requirement. Twins, Detonator, and Duo engine requirements of the Ryzeals. Nothing really to say there. I have Exciton just for board wipe because this card's like insane for Traptrix because we just have a hard time clearing boards. I have Ag here. This card is definitely cuttable. This is one of the flex spots I was talking about before. Because for guys who don't know, we can dump. We can use X to dump Ag, and then Ag, when it's sent to the grave, can target card on the field, negate it. It's a very good card going second. Like X is like low key a board breaker going second. It's like really crazy. Like, but I will say I like how this card is good going. It's better going second than first. I think that's like a really cool like game design. Like that's why the Ryzeals are actually like gameplay design wise. I think these cards were actually like made really well. But yeah, this is definitely cuttable. We're almost never dumping aggregate. I only have it here though. We're going second in case we like search it or get to it somehow, which is another reason why I was considering playing 2 instead of 1. But regardless, we have Baguska because like it's just a good stun card. It's specifically like good in Rise and Traptrix 2 because we have a bunch of traps to set off it. So like it's like yeah, like it's not just Baguska. We have a bunch of traps to go with it, so it's very nice. Typhon, I think you have to play an all Traptrix build. Typhon's just great. It's also just got reprinted, so it's very cheap. Of course, we have Pingloka and Rafflesia as the 2 Traptrix XCs of choice. Nothing really to say here, just good extension and follow-up. I have a Celine Snapper here. For those who don't know, it can banish 2 monsters. Any monsters, not just reptiles. We could banish our flipping Ryzeals. Yeah, how crazy is that? But we could banish 2 cards and then basically just pop 2 back row. Yeah, this card's like, it's not that good. You don't need this, but I was just having this for like different rogue matchups like Lab, etc. Those are not bad entirely because before the ban list again, Ryzeal builds were playing a bunch of like traps like Strike, Judgment, Crossout. So just being able to hit them are nice. But if we're getting a level 3 body, then those cards are already being used. So this card's not that good. SP, of course, nothing really to say here. And then we have 3 Sarah. Yeah, some people cut this card at 2. I never understand that. The extra deck already in Traptrix is so flexible. Just play 3. Like most duels, I go through 3. It's really not that, like, unless I'm just dominating my opponent, which at that point it's like whatever. But if I'm dominating my opponent, then yeah, I might go through 1, maybe 2. But like, nah, most games I go through 3. The grind game is just so real in this deck because again, you just can't OTK. I have this card's like a mandatory 3-up. And then we also have Adipus, which is like, yeah, you can just cut Celine for this. This card's just better. I mean, this card is nice to help OTK, but again, it's never really come up where I help OTK with it. And you could consider playing other cards like Dugaris to like help OTK, Access Code. I have Access Code actually right here for OTKing, but because being able to link this off for Access Code is like kind of cool. But yeah, that's just again, the X-Trix is very it's not tight at all. It's very flexible on this deck. But yeah, this is like current build of the build of the Ryzeals, of course, Traptrix Ryzeal. Yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions, and yeah, back to the video. So to access these cards, we'll be making Duo Drive, assuming we did not lock ourselves off our Arachnacampa, and search for the Trap and Sword. From here, we'll be able to end on Duo, Detonator with Twins under it, and the Trap, which is in total like 7 pops, which is kind of crazy the more I think about it. While playing the engine does lose the strength of Ryzeal, like the Monster Negate, the follow-up, and the consistency, it's a simple way to expand our end board without adding as many bricks into the main deck. So opening Mermalia and a Trap, here's what we can end on. Normal Mermalia, search for Holotea. Link into Sarah, activate Trap, discard a Trap to special Holotea. Trigger Sarah to special Merm. Mermalia mandatory effect will trigger here. Next, Sarah will trigger again to set any whole trap. Usually we'll just set Nightmare here because this is the most common. Then we will exceed the Merm and the Holotea into Duo. Duo search Trap and Sword. Sword special. Sword search X. Dump Twins, summon X. Then we can exceed a Detonator, attach Twins. So we end on Sarah, Detonator with Twins under it, Plasma Hole to pop 2, and Holotea set up in Engrave to summon Merm to pop a back row in case we need to. This setup is low-key probably the strongest Traptrix end board we've ever seen, especially for playing minimal bricks and only 3 extra deck slots. However, we have to keep in mind most players will build their deck to beat 1 Detonator next format, so while this package is strong, it could play into the board better versus just a regular Traptrix end board. Our one saving grace with this deck, however, is Malice is looking to be the favorable deck post Alliance Insight in a couple weeks. It also plays awfully into Nibiru in the Charmies, but God, the funniest bit is being able to search Plasma Hole off Mermalia. Like, we can exceed into Duo Drive during my opponent's turn, man. That's broken. In the next site, Alliance Insight, we are getting more subpar cards for Ryzeal, but there are actually 2 notable cards for Traptrix specifically. Ryzeal Mass Driver is a trap, which isn't a hole, but when we would discard it off Holotea, we could target a card in the graveyard to banish it. This is nothing hugely important, as if we wanted Graveyard Hate, we would just play generic cards like Bestials or DD Crows, but the card is a trap and is technically searchable off Duo, so it's worth bringing up. There's also Star Ryzeal, which detaches an Exceeds material to summon and sets a Ryzeal spell or trap. This card is actually the one I am interested in the most, as it locks us for the rest of the turn, so we can use it after going to Sarah, and it gets us to Plasma Hole directly from the deck. If this card just searched the trap, then it'd probably be a really good inclusion into the deck, as cards guaranteeing a trap in hand is important for Holotea combos, but we'd probably go for Holotea combos first anyway, as the Ryzeals have to be played from hand, and can be guaranteed if they hand trap our Traptrix monsters, for instance. But we'll have to see when these cards drop in a few weeks to grasp the capabilities of these cards. That's pretty much all the Ryzeal cards worth mentioning, but I hope my explanation showed the potential between these two decks. Besides the combo I showed off, I thought about adding more X in the main deck as just an extender and could dump potential Xyz such as Aggregator, Twins of Reborn Traptrix Xyz, Engrave, or in some crazy world we dump Toad to add back a Perulia. Yeah, that's a stretch, but it's the other use of these cards I've thought about, which would be best made going second of course. But overall, being able to pivot into a typical Ryzeal end with only a few card slots is powerful, and it's pretty cheap too, only costing about 20 bucks. It's an engine that is really hard to ignore running, even though everyone is on it, but it's still very interesting to expand our deck of course. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts on the Ryzeal cards, and let me know what you want to see next.